But also, you guys, Colleen Hoover just reactivated her Instagram account, and she has apparently deleted all of the photos with Blake Lively. And Ryan Reynolds' school teacher has just reached out to me. Plus, there has been movement in anybody any excuses, but I now believe firmly, having worked through the preferred Reynolds style of abuse, that Colleen Hoover was similarly love bombed by the couple. I think that's what they...
Now, what's fascinating, though, is the judge denied it. The judge was like, nope, you do not have a good enough excuse. Here it is. Order granting in part and denying in part 65-letter motion to extension of time. The time to file an amended complaint is extended to February 17th. The Lively parties have not offered good cause for any further extension. The time for the Lively parties to file motion dismiss is March 20th, so that didn't change. So they gave her a few extra days.
All right, so here we go again. Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni is back in the spotlight, and this time, Colleen Hoover is jumping right back into the mix. If you've been following the drama, you know things have been heated, but here's the twist. Colleen just reactivated her Instagram after deactivating it during the height of the controversy, apparently declaring her retirement, and while that's already stirring up speculation, there's more. Blake Lively recently got a legal setback after the judge refused to extend the date for preparing her case, even though Baldoni's legal team didn't oppose the idea of an extension. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. Remember when Colleen Hoover announced her retirement amidst all this controversy? Well, surprise, she's back. Not only has she returned to all her social media platforms, but she's also made a pretty bold move by deleting every single picture with both Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. It's like she's wiping the slate clean. But here's the kicker. Colleen revealed that she consulted with her followers, her cohorts as she called them, and they convinced her not to retire.
Well, it's been a couple of weeks now since Colleen Hoover took down her IG, and also it's been many days since the report that she fired her team and is retiring from writing. But Colleen Hoover has a very passionate group of supporters, fans, and she has engaged with them in a way that a lot of other authors don't. And she's back at it. That she had fired her team and was going to retire from writing. If you don't know, Colleen Hoover was friends with Justin Baldoni for years.
On the other hand, Blake Lively's legal team has been navigating some tough waters. They requested an extension until March 5th to submit their amended case, but the judge shut it down, stating that the evidence provided just didn't sit well with the court. However, the court did grant them a shorter extension, giving them until February 17th to file the amended case. Now, here's where it gets juicy. Brian Friedman, who's part of Baldoni's legal team, didn't object to Lively's request for an extension. This is pretty noteworthy, especially considering that Blake Lively previously denied Friedman an extension when his house was destroyed in LA.
Blake Lively literally refused to give Justin's team an extension when his lawyer's house burned down. She refused at that point, which they were very quick to point out to the judge, and said here, you know, this part I'll never forget. Lively's parties ignored the effect of the Los Angeles wildfires on Mr. Friedman's office insensitively. It was wild that they did this. Now, what was interesting though about this is Justin's team did not attempt to challenge Blake's attempt for delay. While they did point out the fact that, yeah, this was pretty rude of them to do it, we are not going to stop them from seeking it because they wanted to be fair, which kudos to them. Now, what's fascinating though is the judge denied it. The judge was like, nope, you do not have a good enough excuse. Here it is. Order granting in part and denying in part 65-letter motion to extension of time. The time to file an amended complaint is extended to February 17th. The Lively parties have not offered good cause for any further extension.
As things continue to brew, the speculation around this saga is reaching a fever pitch. While it still hasn't been clearly confirmed who the guilty party is, the court of public opinion and some legal analysts are starting to lean in a particular direction. Many are suggesting that this case might ultimately end up in Justin Baldoni's favor. Let's circle back to Colleen Hoover and why her role in all of this is so important. Remember, Colleen was one of Blake Lively's most vocal supporters when this legal battle first erupted. When Lively allegedly accused Justin Baldoni of harassment, Colleen took to Instagram to publicly back her, leaving a supportive message that quickly caught everyone's attention.
So Colleen posted this in response to that filing. She wrote, Blake Lively, you have been nothing but honest, kind, supportive, and patient since the day we met. Thank you for being exactly the human that you are. Never change, never wilt.
And here's another layer to Colleen Hoover's involvement. She was the one who attended the movie premiere with Blake Lively and other cast members when Justin Baldoni was allegedly pushed away from the scene, literally into the basement.
As part of the countersuit that he filed against the Gossip Girl alum seeking $400 million of him, quote, being held with his family in the basement. In one image cited in the documents obtained by E! News January 16th, Justin, his wife Emily Baldoni, and various other family members can be seen sitting around a red table in a windowless space with overflowing boxes of popcorn. In another photo, Justin poses against pallets containing stacks of unopened packs of water bottles and Coke bottles alongside 7 of his female friends and relatives.
As things are shaping up now, there's definitely something fishy about Colleen Hoover's sudden return to the spotlight after initially stepping away from it all. Her decision to come back, reactivate her social media, and delete all traces of her connections to both Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has raised more than a few eyebrows. Social media influencers, journalists, and fans alike are all weighing in, dissecting her every move and trying to figure out what her return really means. Candace recently reacted to the whole scenario, and her take is sparking even more conversation. She suggested that Colleen Hoover might have been manipulated by Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, pointing out that both of them have a history of being imposing figures. According to Candace, they often offer things to those around them, making people feel close and valued, only to potentially turn against them once their purpose is served. It's a bold claim, but it's one that's resonating with a lot of people who are trying to make sense of Colleen's sudden shift in behavior.
Firmly having worked through the preferred Reynolds style of abuse, that Colleen Hoover was similarly love-bombed by the couple. I think that's what they do. I think Brandon Sklenar, Colleen, Channing Tatum, Isabel Ferrer, everyone was love-bombed. They isolate the person they want to destroy. In this case, it was Justin Baldoni. And then they are the exact opposite, overwhelmingly amazing and kind and offering all kinds of A-list goodies to the people that are around the person that they're trying to target. Oh, Liz Plank, oh, why don't you be a part of this random documentary? Oh, you know, what is it that you want? We are just such good people. Even all the way at the top, we're good people. We want to help you.
Candace took her theory even further, suggesting that Colleen Hoover might have initially been in control of her own actions, but was eventually swept into Blake Lively's orbit, unknowingly becoming part of a larger plan. She pointed to that infamous incident at the movie premiere, where Baldoni and his family were allegedly pushed into the basement, while everyone else, including Colleen, was present on the red carpet.
And of course, there is some dark irony here that Colleen Hoover wrote this book about abuse, but seemed unable to pick up the abuse that was happening right under her nose. So she unwittingly, hopefully, I should say unwittingly, played along in this. She allowed Justin and his family to be put in that basement and seemed open to the prospect, as we showed in that old interview with her and Blake, of her getting her movie rights back, even though Wayfarer and Justin had already purchased the sequel rights, which I would love to be a part of the project.
Candace didn't stop there. She dug even deeper by bringing up an old interview of Colleen Hoover from before all this controversy erupted. In the interview, Colleen was openly in awe of Justin Baldoni, praising his work and character. Candace pointed out how starkly that contrasts with Colleen's later actions, where she seemingly shifted her support to Blake Lively. In Candace's words, Colleen got Blakified, a term she used to describe how Lively's influence might have swayed Colleen's perspective and actions.
She adored Justin. She did. I'm sorry. She absolutely adored Justin. We could show you clip after clip after clip. Obviously, you can read the lawsuit and see the emails. And then, like I said, she got Blakified, Reynoldsified, and suddenly she's in love with Blake in so much that she's allowing Justin to be treated terribly. That's the way the public is reading this, and they're right to read it that way.
Andy Signore from Popcorn Planet also weighed in on the legal side of this drama, diving into the details of the recent court hearing. He highlighted how Blake Lively's legal team requested an extension to prepare their amended lawsuit, but ultimately failed to convince the judge. According to Andy, the judge wasn't swayed by Lively's arguments, and the request for more time was denied.
Now, what's fascinating, though, is the judge denied it. The judge was like, nope, you do not have a good enough excuse. Here it is. order granting in part and denying in part 65-letter motion to extension of time. The time to file an amended complaint is extended to February 17th. The Lively parties have not offered good cause for any further extension. The time for the Lively parties to file motion dismiss is March 20th, so that didn't change. So they gave her a few extra days.
Andy Senor also reflected on the idea of the extension request, suggesting that there might be more to it than meets the eye. He floated the possibility that Ryan Reynolds could be holding on to something, perhaps a piece of evidence or a strategy that could completely change the course of the case. But here's the big question Andy raised. If they do have something that significant, why didn't they use it earlier to protect their image or strengthen their position?
Finally drop to try to really take advantage of the narrative, because this is their shot. This narrative that they need more time on, that they're clearly digging around for stuff, this is their moment to fight back and say, you all doubted us, well, look at this. Bam. And I expect they are going to put a lot of more texts and things that they've tried to muster. But I just don't believe it exists. Why wouldn't we have seen it already? Why would you have held on to that and let all this get this bad and out of hand?
Andy Signore didn't hold back when he said that the damage to Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' image is already so severe that even if something major comes out in their favor, it might not be enough to clear their names in the eyes of the public. According to him, the court of public opinion has already made up its mind, and at this point, it might not matter what new evidence or arguments they bring forward.
Because even if there was some sort of inappropriate thing that they're going to reveal of Justin, I still think at this point, Blake Lively's lost so much stock, it kind of won't matter to a lot of people. So this has become a mess. Absolute mess. What do you think?
As this saga continues to unfold, the spotlight remains firmly on Colleen Hoover and her shifting allegiances in the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni controversy. Colleen, who was once a vocal supporter of Lively, now appears to be distancing herself by deleting all traces of their connection from her social media. This move has sparked intense speculation about whether she was influenced or even manipulated by Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Candace's theory that Colleen was Blakified suggests that Lively's imposing personality and influence may have drawn Colleen into her orbit, leading her to unknowingly become part of a larger plan. The infamous incident at the movie premiere where Baldoni and his family were allegedly pushed into the basement while Colleen stood alongside Lively on the red carpet adds weight to this idea. It raises questions about whether Colleen was a willing participant or simply caught up in a web of power dynamics she didn't fully understand. Meanwhile, the legal case seems to be tilting against Lively, with the judge denying her request for an extension to file an amended lawsuit. This setback, coupled with the public's growing skepticism, has left Lively and Reynolds in a precarious position. Andy Signore's analysis highlights the severity of the damage to their image, suggesting that even if new evidence emerges, it may not be enough to sway public opinion. The perception that Lively and Reynolds wield their influence to manipulate those around them has only deepened, and Colleen's actions, both past and present, seem to reinforce this narrative. While Colleen's return to social media and her decision to step back from the drama could be seen as an attempt to reclaim her independence, it also raises questions about her role in the larger plan. Was she a pawn in Lively's strategy, or did she play a more active part than she's letting on? As the case continues to unfold, one thing is clear: this drama is far from over, and every revelation only adds more layers to an already complex story. Whether Colleen was influenced, complicit, or simply caught in the crossfire, her actions remain a central piece of this ever-evolving puzzle. What are your thoughts on this entire drama? Do you believe Colleen Hoover was part of a larger plan to hijack the movie, or was she unwittingly pulled into the chaos? What's your take on the legal trial so far? Is there still a chance for something to clear Blake Lively's image, or are these delays simply a strategy to avoid confrontation? Share your opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to stay tuned for more updates as this ongoing drama continues to unfold.